As I'm getting older, the days are seeming to pass me by quicker and quicker. One moment I was in college, then starting my first corporate job, and now I'm a mom. I work, I live on my own, I have responsibilities, a family, I'm an adult. I have so much going on in my life that I forget to slow down and enjoy it. I wish I could stop time and do all the things that I wish I could spend more time doing instead of being boggled down by responsibilities, chores, parenting, and being an employee, a mom, and just all that comes with it. And if you are in the same season and environment and life stage that I'm at, then you understand me all too well. This is the year that I'm going to slow down. I'm going to be smelling the roses more often. I'm going to be more intentional in making time for myself and for others, other loved ones in my life. So here are some things that I have been learning along the way as I'm becoming more intentional with my time, prioritizing my needs and the things that I want to do in my hobbies, and prioritizing the loved ones in my life so that life doesn't feel like it's slipping through my fingers half the time. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. If you guys are new, I post videos around the topic of becoming more intentional in our walk with Christ. Being a mom, how that bleeds into other aspects of our life. Feel free to check out some other videos that I may have to give you a feel of the type of stuff that I post. Today we are going to talk about how I have become more intentional on finding joy again in my day-to-day as a mom and all the other things that go on in my life, and how essentially I romanticize my life, right? And let me just give you the definition of what I mean by romanticize. By romanticize, I mean appreciate or make the most of my time, my energy, my focus, my priorities, my values. I'm taking a good look at them and seeing and stepping back and thinking, how can I become more intentional and find joy in my life amidst the chaos of my day-to-day? And you guys know I'm a parent. I am a single parent too, and I am a working mom, and I'm just all those things, right? So I'm a content creator by hobby. So I just do a lot of different stuff. And so I'm trying to find a nice sweet spot in balance. And we're never truly gonna have that balance, right? Because it depends on the season that you're in. It depends on the things that come up in your life. But we can always try to reach that harmony in our life where we are like juggling a bunch of different stuff, but finding little pockets of time to re-energize ourselves or rejuvenate a little bit, or have some me time, and how that looks for you and just stuff like that. So that's what I mean by romanticizing my life. And I wanted to put that definition out because I see that actually term a lot, and I'm not sure what that means for other people, but this is what it means for me. So how do I romanticize my life in the midst of all the chaos and busyness and obligations and commitments that come my way? The answer is it's by being extremely intentional with your time and not going with the flow in some areas of your life. So if you're interested in seeing how I was able to kind of slow down, enjoy life, not really having it slip through my fingers half the time, because I feel like sometimes I'm on like airplane mode, right? Or I used to feel that way a lot, but then I took a step back. So if you are interested in learning or just knowing what I did essentially to feel that type of joy again, then here we go. Number one, take a moment and figure out what you truly want. Andrew asked me this question once, and I thought it was a good question. And he asked me, if money wasn't a factor, if the obligations that you had as a parent, wasn't a factor, or even like with parenthood, like how do you envision peace and joy in your life? Like what comes to mind when you think of a peaceful life? And so for me, when I answered that question, I was thinking like, oh, like the ultimate homemaker. And as much as I love to like accomplish things and I love to like advance in my career and stuff like that, I am very goal oriented. When I envision peace and I envision a day-to-day life where it's just simple and lovely and beautiful, I imagine having a beautiful home, like a farmhouse style home, and I can like learn to like cook better meals, and I can like have like my side business on the side, and I'm like there at all of my kids' events, and like everything is just so peaceful and more slower paced in life. And coming from me, that's like a huge environment change, because I'm like in the midst of like, I'm in New Jersey, I'm from like Queens, New York, and it's like it's like hustle and bustle around here. But when I envision peace and I envision like a simple, more simple life and what would actually bring me joy, I envision that. And so take a moment to reflect on what brings you peace, what brings you joy, and if all of these things in your life currently weren't the case, like how do you envision your life to be where you would obtain that joy and peace you're longing for or searching for? And I would even say, taking a step further, is to write this vision down. So don't just make a mental note, but actually write it down and see what you come up with and how creative you can be in like this life in your head when you think about stepping away from all your chaos in your day-to-day. Number 2, what elements of that can you incorporate in your life or can help you feel the peace you feel when you think about that vision? So maybe our vision isn't a reality, right? Like reality is, as much as I find peace in the idea of this like ultimate homemaker, I have a career and I have a job and I have a place that I'm living with now, and I find joy in those things too. But how can I incorporate the feeling of the peace that I feel when I envision that? What aspects of it is it bringing me peace, right? So maybe it's not that I need to be this ultimate homemaker, but maybe I envision this ultimate homemaker like having time to read a book, or having time to do her own hobbies, or being able to slow down and smell the roses in one way or another. And that's what I'm actually seeking, not just the external life, the white picket fence, like that's gonna bring me joy, all those external things, but internally, how does she feel? What can she do? What hobbies can she share? And what time can she spend with her kids and her spouse and stuff? And that's ultimately what's gonna bring me joy and peace. And so take a step back, look at your vision, if you wrote it down, reread it, and think about, how can I incorporate those things in my life? How can I prioritize some things in my life to achieve that joy, those glimpses of joy, and add those little pockets of time within my day to feel that and recharge? And when we do that, and what I found, this is March, and I've been doing this since January, or actually a little bit before that, I've been finding that I've been having a lot more patience, more peace, and I've been progressing a lot with the things that I said I was gonna do 1,000 times, and that like I never got to it because I never felt like I had the time. But it's been nice to just like, okay, I'm going to do this hobby and spend like 30 minutes doing it. And 30 minutes ever so often increases the time that you ultimately spend on it. And it allows you the peace and joy that you would feel otherwise. Number 3, you have to be as intentional with your personal life as you are with your work life. Being intentional with your personal life does not come naturally. I have a career where I have to be very detailed. I also have to think 10 steps ahead, and that doesn't always translate over to my personal life. Even being a planner by nature, I feel like my personal life can be in shambles sometimes, because I don't prioritize myself and I don't prioritize what my needs are, because I'm so busy serving and catering to everyone else. So I would encourage you to be more intentional on what your needs are and what you need to recharge or recuperate, and actually prioritize it, because you have to value it too in order to prioritize it. So it's kind of a mindset shift as well, right? So start thinking about this if you haven't already. Think about the things in your personal life that you have to address that you kind of been putting in the back burner. Like if you've been thinking like, oh, I need more sleep lately, or I just want to read a good book but I don't have time to, like try to, even if it's 5 minutes a day, try to incorporate that. And with time, you'll be able to see the peace and the joy that it brings you in creating those pockets of time, the recharging that it'll bring you, and you'll be able to just show up better because you are also taking care of yourself. My mom always says, you can't pour into someone else if your glass is half full. And that is so true. You have to be able to pour into yourself. Don't think of it as like a selfish act, but you're doing this to help other people. You're doing this to show up better for your kids, for your spouse, for your family, for your loved ones and your friends, right? So think about how you can find joy, how you can find peace and relaxation despite everything, the craziness that's going on. And like I said, it's not always going to be easy, and there are going to be times where you feel like you have to do more than you should. But redefine productivity for yourself. Redefine and look at your core values again. Take a good look at them and see, like, what do I need to be pouring more into? And you'll be able to figure out how to incorporate and be more intentional with your personal life. Now, there's practical ways of doing that too. You can use a Google Calendar, you can set reminders. Same thing with your job. Like, what do you do at your job to be more intentional and prioritizing things, right? So do that same thing in your personal life and watch it like work wonders as far as like getting things done, but also taking a step back and realizing that you probably have a little more time in your day than you realize. My last point that I want to make is just don't forget about you. And that has been like the theme in the last 3 points that I made, but just don't forget about you. Like, it's so easy as a parent to push everything aside that's like for you and just focus on your kids, but you're going to be burnt out and you're going to be stressed all the time, overwhelmed all the time, and it's just not helpful for anyone. So just a quick reminder, don't forget about you, prioritize yourself. It's important to, it's not selfish to. And yeah, I think that's really important to finding the joy and peace and romanticizing your life. I don't know why it's so weird for me to say like romanticize your life, but that's what I mean by romanticizing your life. Is like, take a step back, smell the roses a little bit, be more intentional on focusing on yourself. Your personal life is just as important as your career, and yeah, just smell the roses every once in a while. So we covered a good bit on the mindset shift and the change that you need to make in order to be more intentional on finding joy again in your life. So here are just a few things that I'm working on for myself that I hope by the end of the year I've progressed on, but this is like a few things that I've always wanted to do and get back to, that I'm starting to find joy again in my hobbies. So if you're interested, these are some things I'm doing. First, I'm reading more books. I told myself that I want to read more books, and outside of the Bible, like the Bible is a great, like you have to be reading the Bible. That's like a given. You can't walk this Christian life without reading the Bible. But I wanted to incorporate just reading other books too, and just like fiction books or documentaries or just different stuff, right? And so I've been doing more of that, and I committed to 1 book a month, and I haven't been able to reach that yet, but I have been doing, I think I've been reading 2 books so far that I'm pretty into right now, and so I'm just enjoying my time, finding pockets of time to do that. And a lot of my pockets of time end up being like the end of the night or the early morning, because I tend to be an early bird, and it's been really great. Number 2 is I've been drawing again, and I started drawing when I was in middle school. I actually loved it, and being the insecure and shy person that I was, I didn't think I was great at it, but looking back, like I was really good. I was actually really good, and I didn't have like much confidence in myself, so I kind of stopped after a while when I couldn't, like I kept hitting a roadblock, I remember, of like not being able to do more realistic drawings to the level that I wanted to do. And I always thought at the time, like, this is just like a natural talent, like you don't need to practice, like you should just know. That's not true for anything. Like you can have like a leaning towards talent, but it takes practice and skill to be able to become better at it. And so I decided to take that up again 10 years later, and I love it. I love being able to sketch, and hopefully this summer and this spring I'm gonna go outside and start like sketching trees and houses and buildings and things that I see. And I want to see my progress at the end of this year and see how far I've come. So I'm really excited about that. Number 3 is I'm finding my aesthetic again. So I think I went through like style changes and just like what my I think it just changes, right? It just changes with your season, changes with your life stage. There was a stage where I was like into like way more makeup and stuff, and now it's just a lot more like natural. And I hardly probably even wear that much makeup, even though I have like a ton right behind me. But finding my aesthetic again is like, I love neutral tones. I love minimalism, but I also love a cozy atmosphere. I love a lot of like basic wear and stuff that I can like repurpose, and just like really cute organizational stuff, planners. I'm like looking around plants and yeah, just finding my aesthetic again and what my new aesthetic is now, and trying to incorporate that in my life, because it's a real dopamine hit when you're like walking into your room and it's just like, it's the vibe, like you just love like everything that's just like, I don't know, I can't explain it. Like I know you probably like understand what I'm talking about, like when you're walking into your room and you see like your style, and that's where I want to be at. And I feel like my house, my home is kind of like that way, but I want to incorporate more of it and just like rearrange my place a little bit, rearrange my style a little bit. And yeah, I think it's really cute, and it is like a true dopamine hit when you're like walking around, you're like, that's my style, or I love this, it just brings me joy, and those little things bring me joy. Last one is mastering Japanese. Finally, I've been talking about this, I feel like for years. Like I minored in Japanese in college, well, almost minored, 1 credit like below, but I wasn't willing to stay the whole summer to be able to finish 1 credit. But I'm just gonna say I minored in Japanese because I really did. And I just stopped from there, and because of just life circumstances and stuff, I never got back to it. But in the past few months, I've been intentional about learning Japanese, and I feel like I'm like beginner intermediate again. And so I just need to keep going at it, and hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be able to speak conversationally and not be so nervous in talking in Japanese. So, and then I'll be able to move on to the next language that I want to learn. So this is not everything that I want to do, but this is the things that I'm becoming more intentional with. And I've been doing this for the past 3 months, actually probably like 6 months now. And it's really amazing to see like how much my energy has shifted and how much like my joy has shifted, because I felt like I was just burnt out and overwhelmed. But even doing these like small acts of the things that I've always wanted to do have brought out a lot of joy and just relaxation, right? So I encourage you to take a step back and to think about all of these things, and to think about what you want to prioritize this year, what will bring you joy. Even if it's just one small thing, just do it consistently and see where it takes you. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it blessed you. I hope it got you thinking a little bit, and I'm just excited. I'm excited about this year in being more intentional in some things, and just overall, just where this year will take me. And I'm just excited to see where this year will take you too. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.